Good evening and welcome to ABN's Jihawatch program. I'm Robert Spencer, and we have tonight with us one of the world's foremost freedom fighters and activists, one of the foremost defenders of the freedom of speech, the freedom of conscience, and the equality of rights of all people before the law. And of course, I could be talking about no one else but Pamela Geller. Pamela, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having you. Hello. Sending you a little love, a little belated Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much because I know that at the core of all your work there is a tremendous love, and it's a love for the good, for what is true, for what is right, for Western civilization, for the glorious contributions that Western civilization has made to the world, for our concepts of human rights, and as you have so memorably and succinctly put it, for art, for music, and for love. And it's kind of paradoxical in that the foremost charge and smear of the foes of freedom and the aiders and abettors of the global jihad is that what you're doing, what I'm doing, what those who are fighting with us are doing is actually hateful. But this is obviously nothing could be further from the truth, and it is just another one of the lies that they perpetrate.
Well, it's not so much a lie, which of course it is, but it's more of this is war, and this is the battleground, and it is incumbent upon them to destroy the enemy. And in order to destroy the enemy, you have to ruin them. And so if you marginalize and destroy the name, the reputation, the work of any given, and there are very few of us at this point, because it really is most unpleasant, and many people do not want to subject themselves to this, and many people need to make a living, because clearly your ability to make a living is destroyed. But it's war. So the campaign of defamation and of libel and of smear is essential. You know, Muhammad said war is deceit, and so to destroy the lovers of the good and paint them as evil is a tried and true and very effective tactic, particularly when you have the media so very much in your court doing your bidding, doing your wicked bidding. And it is wicked what they have done to freedom fighters such as yourself, our colleagues. You know, and you know, we rely on the critical thinkers. We rely on people that do not take their talking points from the media, that do not rely on others to make their own decisions for them, and it is an increasingly rare bird that we rely on.
Absolutely, yes. And that actually brings us to our topic at hand for this evening. The quote that you gave from Muhammad, war is deceit, is especially apposite in light of the fact that deceit and deception are at the absolute heart of the strategy for Islamic supremacists in the United States to lull Americans into complacency regarding Islam, regarding jihad, regarding the threat of Islamic supremacism in general, and how Islamic law is so absolutely opposed to the freedoms that we hold dear, among those, the ones that I enumerated before in regard to your work, the freedom of speech, the freedom of conscience, and the equality of rights of all people. And so the topic tonight is the jihad over jihad. And this has to do, of course, with the Hamas-linked Council on American Islamic Relations attempt to co-opt the meaning of jihad and to lull Americans into complacency by confusing them as to what jihad is really all about. Jihad, obviously, in classical Islamic theology means spiritual warfare, but primarily and foremost, it means and has always meant warfare against unbelievers in order to subjugate them as inferiors, denied basic rights under the rule of Islamic law. But CAIR's MyJihad campaign is quite different from that. Can you give us a little bit of the background?
Well, look, the CAIR campaign is so bizarre and so insulting to our intelligence. And yet, the warm and fawning reception that it's received, not only here in America, but across the world, is particularly jaw-dropping. I mean, the BBC has done an hour on this. What they've set out to do is reclaim jihad, meaning twist, pervert, and deceive and mislead the American people as to the true meaning of jihad. It's a various series of ads, you know, each one different. My jihad is getting to the gym on time, you know. My jihad is waking up in the morning. You know. My jihad is just getting that 3-minute egg just exactly right.
Exactly right, yes.
Like I said, it's wildly insulting. Don't misunderstand me. I'm sure that there are Muslims that do not associate jihad with violence. Clearly the issue is not with them, but with the millions of jihadists across the world making life hell for non-Muslims in Muslim countries, whether it's the Coptic Christians in Egypt or the Christians in Nigeria or Ethiopia or Bangladesh, or the Jews in Israel, or the Zoroastrians, or the Persians in Iran. I mean, the list is endless. It's all over the world. It's wherever Muslims have been imported into non-Muslim countries, where they begin to agitate, and so on and so forth. Look, we created a counter-campaign to this insulting and bizarre Hamas CAIR campaign, so as to battle the disinformation that these Muslim Brotherhood groups are advancing with their media lapdogs, their handmaidens. You know, our campaign uses high-profile Muslims, whether it's the Prime Minister of Turkey or the Times Square bomber or the Christmas Day bomber or the Fort Hood jihadi or Hamas TV, using their words, their quotes, and that's their jihad. And so our objective, the purpose of our campaign, was to show the reality of jihad and the root causes of terrorism in the words of jihadists. We use the texts and the teachings of Islam to show what jihad means to millions and millions of Muslims. Because I don't think people in America, look, it's been 11 years. 11 years of disinformation. You know, yes, you and I and a couple of others are out there, like Paul Revere, every day, you know, bringing the jihad news to Americans. But I mean, you know, it's really, even David and Goliath is a poor metaphor for CBS, NBC, ABC, New York Times, LA Times, BBC. I mean, and on and on and on. And so I think the American people are woefully misinformed. Otherwise, I don't think they would take sitting down that to this day, the Fort Hood jihadi is classified as workplace violence, that our soldiers were mowed down, unarmed, like many of our soldiers in Afghanistan on these green on blue attacks. Again, I don't think the American people understand why there are green on blue attacks. I don't think the families of the murdered soldiers understand. As you know, last week you were there when I was being honored as Patriot of the Year, and there was a family there that was getting the Ultimate Sacrifice Award for their son, Greg Buckley, who was killed in cold blood by a jihadi, who, by the way, has not been charged, okay? Because Obama doesn't want to, you know, I guess, harm the sensibilities of jihadists. So it is incumbent upon us, you know, we have to teach, and anyone that understands that's out there, your viewers, need to teach those in their sphere of influence. They must, because we are at war. And not showing up for a war doesn't mean that the war doesn't exist. It just means that you forfeit. And we're not in a position to forfeit, because there is no country like the United States of America. There will never be a country like this again. And we must fight for it with every breath in our bodies.
Absolutely.